Hey guys, my name is Amanda. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited about today's video. It is a compilation video of my 10 best farmhouse DIYs. In other words, my 10 favorite farmhouse DIYs. Some are fairly new and some are throwbacks to a year ago when I first started my channel, but all of them are some of my favorite projects and I really hope that you enjoy seeing them. If you're new to my channel and have never seen these before, let me know down below what is your favorite. If you're not new to my channel, I hope that you still enjoy watching this compilation video, and let me know down below what you think about compilation videos. Anybody who has not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And also hit that bell button so you're notified every time I upload. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, as that really helps me out here on YouTube. And now I'm going to show you some of the things that I will be showing today. So I'm going to show how to make this gorgeous farmhouse window, this very pretty family gathers here wall hanging or wreath, these two farmhouse wooden pieces, this kitchen home piece, two more wooden pieces, a house and a shelf, and these gorgeous little cutting boards that I made, as well as this plant stand and this farmhouse rope basket. So let's get right into it, you guys. DIY number 1 is a box. Can put all kinds of stuff in. So I began by taking these 2 wooden crates from Dollar Tree, a package of Dollar Tree rulers, although I'm only going to be using 1. And I also am going to be using 2 of these Dollar Tree Valentine's book stacks. I began by removing the plastic off the book stacks and the ribbon off the book stacks. Once my book stacks are prepared, I'm going to be gluing them side by side like so. I am just using Gorilla hot glue, but you could use any adhesive that you felt necessary. This held pretty well for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and bust those crates up. I want the sides. Now the reason why I'm doing this and not just using the rulers is because the rulers are just a tiny bit too short. So I'm taking the sides of these crates. So I need 4 of the sides in total, and I'm going to be making 2 sets to make the length that I need to go across my long book stack. Now I do take a little piece off what was the end of this crate just to attach my 2 pieces together, if that makes sense. So I have 2 pieces from each crate, and I'm just attaching them together with a little spare piece of wood that I had broken off the excess of that crate. And don't worry, you guys, I will be reusing the wooden pieces, particularly the bottoms of these crates. I have another project in mind. So this is what it looks like. You'll have 2 sets of these crate pieces put together. So the front and the back of our brand new crate, and then I'm going to use 1 ruler. I'm going to remove the little measurement tabs off, and I'm going to go ahead and cut down 2 pieces that will cover the end gaps there on the top of our crate. Hopefully all of that makes sense. I know you can see what I'm doing, but if you still have any questions, please feel free to ask below in the comments. So here I am just gluing on the ends of these crates. And once this crate is all assembled, I'm going to go ahead and give it a very generous coat of my Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint. And if you have any ends that are a little bit jagged, you can just go ahead and sand them with a Dollar Tree sanding sponge or any sandpaper that you have on hand. Now here I want to go ahead and mention that I did also, in the assembly of the crate, you may have seen me using another glue as well as my hot glue. I did use some Dollar Tree tacky glue as well because I didn't have any wood glue on hand. But you could use whatever you like. So now I'm taking those Dollar Tree wall stickers again, and I'm going to place one down on the front of my crate. I want to keep the look that it had, the paneled look. I really like that. So I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut through these flowers to make sure that I keep that look. So I'm just carefully using my X-Acto knife. I don't have the steadiest hand, so I did kind of go upward and make a scratch on my paint. So I just go ahead and fix that. But again, just cutting through the flowers to keep the look. Now I'm cutting another flower into half and going ahead and putting half a flower on either side of this crate. So for all these projects, that I made today with these flowers, I just used one sheet of these Dollar Tree wall stickers. Now I'm going to be going ahead and using my antique wax to gently distress this. If you do not like distressing, you don't have to distress. This is just how I like to do it to give it a farmhouse appearance. Now again, with our Mod Podge, I'm just going to go over everything so nothing scratches off, and this is easy to dust. Here is what it looks like, you guys. I absolutely love it. The vase that you see behind it, I had made several months ago when I had found these stickers previously. I love them, and I hope that you like it too. So DIY number 2, this gorgeous farmhouse window is so pretty and I absolutely love how it came out. I'm going to be using 15 Dollar Tree frames. You don't have to use that many, and some popsicle sticks. I didn't have just one type of frame, so I used these 2 different types that are about the same size, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the backs of them. For the one with the little tag on the front, I will also be removing that little tag. So once that is all done, I am going to lay out. First, I do 2 sets of 6. So I go ahead and just flip them upside down and place them how I want them in nice straight lines. I do not pull off the tabs that hold the contents into the picture frames, but you absolutely could if you wanted to. I just left it like this so I have the option to add pictures later should I choose. Now I'm just going to place popsicle sticks down where the picture frames connect to hold everything together. Now I actually was getting very low on popsicle sticks for the first time in forever, so I did kind of have to improvise with little pieces here and there and a couple of paint sticks. But ideally, if you're not low on popsicle sticks like me, you can just go ahead and trim them to size and just put them where they need to be, where everything connects. So now after I make my 2 sets of 6, I connect them together. Then I decided to go ahead and add on 3 more for a total of 15 frames. These are the smaller frames. I believe they're 5 by 7. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my little sanding block and sand over where those little metal tags were to make everything smooth. Now I'm going to put a generous amount of antique wax on a paper towel, and I'm just going to go all over this frame, rubbing it on and then rubbing back over it and just kind of blending it in until I get the look that I like. So I just go back and forth and over until I get a really nice brown, deep brown color. Again, this is Waverly Antique Wax. And then I'm also going to take some on a little brush and kind of do the insides of the picture frame just in case that is visible. Now I'm going to take a larger, fluffier brush with some Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint. I have kind of brushed my brush against some paper to kind of make it to where there's not a lot on there. And I'm going to go ahead and dry brush over this dry antique wax to give this an even more aged and weathered appearance. So I'm going to do this all over the whole frame until everything blends together and it all looks the same. Now once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and take this Dollar Tree family. I painted it with my Waverly plaster. It's like a particle board. Dollar Tree has these several times a year with different words. I'm going to take some scrapbook paper, which is the only item that I did not purchase at Dollar Tree for this window, and I am going to trace this family on top of my scrapbook paper. Then I'm going to take Dollar Tree tiny little pink detail scissors, and I'm going to cut this word out and use a glue stick to adhere it. And now I couldn't get the whole word on one in one piece, so I had to go ahead and just do part and then do the second part. So while I'm going ahead and gluing that down, and you also see that I ripped a little piece off, but that was okay. I just placed it carefully with the glue. So while I'm doing that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please hit the thumbs up button, as that really helps me out here on YouTube. It is a free way to support my channel. Also, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing so that you do not miss any of the awesome videos I have coming your way. Also, to make sure you don't miss anything, you will want to hit that little bell button so you're notified every time that I upload. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want it. So since there's 5 across of my picture frames, I just make sure that the middle of the family word is on that middle picture frame. Now I'm going to take a piece of Dollar Tree rope and I'm just going to glue it to the back of the L and the F and just figure out exactly how I want that placed. And then I can go ahead and put it on top of my picture frame. And I'm going to be attaching the top part of that rope to the top of my picture frame with some hot glue. Once I have attached it to the top of my picture frame with some hot glue, and honestly that's the only place I'm attaching it because I want to be able to reuse this. So once I have done that, I'm going to take this little piece of rope, and originally I was going to go all the way around, but I didn't want that to interfere with how this hung. So I ended up just going from the inside of the picture frame, gluing it down, and then gluing it on the other side. So hopefully that makes sense. You see, I was trying to fix that a little bit, but hopefully that makes sense. So I had just glued that little loop of rope that's holding on the bigger loop on either side there. So now I'm just kind of fixing up my word and here I am kind of trimming off any excess once this little loop is glued down, and now that will not interfere with how this hangs. So our window is done. This is it. This is the Dollar Tree window, but I decided to embellish it. So that was the DIY. You don't have to embellish it. I decided to. So this is some boxwood greenery from Walmart, and I am just going to be placing little sprigs all the way across the top of this. Now, Dollar Tree does have absolutely gorgeous florals and gorgeous greenery, but I feel like I can still say that this is a Dollar Tree DIY because the DIY was complete and I am just embellishing it. But you can also embellish it with Dollar Tree greenery or Dollar Tree florals, whatever you like. So once the greenery is all the way across the top, you are done. I hung this on my wall. I absolutely love how it turned out. So for DIY number 3, with Dollar Tree items. So I'm going to be using these Dollar Tree wood planks that come 6 to a pack. I'm going to be using some Gorilla Glue and some popsicle sticks. I am going to be using several packs of the Dollar Tree ping pong balls. So this is 1 pack of the wood pallets, 6 here. I placed them in 2 rows of 3, and then I used my popsicle sticks to adhere them together so that they are nice and stable. And I do this twice for the top and the bottom part of my riser. So once I have my popsicle sticks all cut down and glued on, and these things are nice and solid and not going anywhere, then I have the top and bottom base. Now I will have an exact count of how many. Go ahead and place some Gorilla Glue on the ping pong ball, and then I put a little bit of hot glue on the wooden piece. And again, we are gluing our ping pong balls to the side that has our popsicle sticks. So Gorilla Glue on my ping pong ball and then hot glue on my wooden piece so that I don't mix my glues together. And then I do decide to go ahead and add a little bit of hot glue in between some of the ping pong balls just for a little bit more stability. So I'm going to do this around all 4 sides. So I'm going to do the 2 longer sides and the 2 shorter sides with these ping pong balls, just repeating the process until everything is done. Originally, I was not sure if the ping pong balls would hold up for this project, but they actually were strong enough to go between these wood pieces, and it worked really well for me. So I'm just going to go ahead, like I said, and do this all the way around. So I used 9 on the top and bottom, I believe, and it looks like I used 4 on the sides. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with my Gorilla Glue and some hot glue, kind of alternating my glues on the bottom part or the popsicle stick side of my other wood piece, and then I'm going to flip it so the popsicle sticks are down, and I'm going to place it right on top of those those ping pong balls. So now here in a minute, you're going to see some marbles tucked in between each ping pong ball. I originally thought that was what I wanted to do, and then I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So later on, you'll see that the marbles are gone, but that's an option. You could stick Dollar Tree marbles in between each ping pong ball. Now, these 4 little pieces that are going to be my legs are Dollar Tree pots that had succulents in them last year, but there's lots of different things that you could use for your legs if you want to. So I decided to use some beaded garland. So this is like a Mardi Gras bead, which Dollar Tree does carry. So I can say that that is a Dollar Tree DIY because Dollar Tree does carry these. I just could not find any. But this is the exact same thing. I just purchased it at Walmart. And I'm going to go around the top and the bottom of this tray with some hot glue. And then once that is done, I'm going to paint my entire tray with Waverly Plaster chalk paint. I just paint the legs, the beads, the top. I just used a large brush to paint everything, and then a smaller brush to get in between those little balls there. Once that is done, I'm going to use my antique wax on a large fluffy brush, and I'm just going to go over the sides of the tray, the legs of the tray, and the top. When that is done, I too go in again with a smaller brush and just put a little bit of plaster back on top of that antique wax in places that I feel are a little bit too dark. So that's kind of personal preference, how you want the wood to look for this tray. But here's what it looks like. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a very sturdy tray, and I just think it looks so pretty with farmhouse items, and it will be gorgeous all year long, displayed differently. So here I kind of have it displayed for spring with a little vase that I had made. I just think it is so gorgeous, and I love how it came out and how fast and inexpensive it was. I hope you like it too. So for DIY number 4, I'm going to show you another DIY using Dollar Tree items, and this is plant stand. So I'm going to show you how I used some Dollar Tree items from a different season to make a plant stand. So these are from fall. These are just little Dollar Tree planters, and this is a Valentine's Day round sign that I believe Dollar Tree is still carrying. So I'm going to flip one of those little metal planters over, and I'm going to use 2 popsicle sticks glued on top of each other just to kind of make this the same height, because this does have kind of a raised edge and I want it to glue very well to the other container. So now I'm just putting some glue around the sides and also on those popsicle sticks, and I'm gluing these together butt to butt, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to use some Dollar Tree white cotton rope and also the tanned rope, and I'm going to do the white cotton rope kind of in the middle. So I put 1 piece around the middle, and then I go 4 up, and then I'm going to go 4 down that middle piece. And I'm just using hot glue, and then where each one of my rope pieces and on the top and bottom, I'm going to go in with some dark rope. Now this rope I had used from a previous project, so that is why it looks so curly, but I'm just going ahead and pulling it tight and kind of uncurling it as I go around. Now, and when I come to an end, I do use my sharp scissors to cut this rope at an angle, and that way it helps it with the fraying. So I do the top and the bottom, and now I go back to this round piece, and I'm going to use some Dollar Tree paper here. This is like a large sticker paper for the inside of your cabinets, so it comes in the dishes section of Dollar Tree. I'm just going to trace out this circle, and then I'm going to adhere this sticker paper to the top. It's like shelf liner. I couldn't think of what it was called there for a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up my edge and make it a little more decorative with another piece of rope. So I'm just kind of getting it where I want it, and then placing some hot glue under it and holding it for a second until it dries. I'm going to do this all the way around. This is the little top of my planter, and then I am going to again cut my rope at an angle and just kind of use little dabs of hot glue to get that in place so it's not sticking out too badly, and then you can kind of trim down any excess. So then I'm going to flip the top, which is that wooden round, or that the wood round over. So my rope's on the other side. So here's the design side, and I'm going to put some hot glue on that design side, or not hot glue, I'm sorry, Gorilla Glue, and then I'll put some hot glue on one end of my planter, and that way I'm not mixing my glues. Then I'm going to place my planter right there in the middle of that sign. Now you could totally at this point go ahead and paint around the bottom of your sign if you want to. But since it's not going to show, I honestly did not, and you cannot tell. However, I'll probably go back in and end up painting it because I do like a finished product. But I love this. I think it looks so awesome, and it's going to be gorgeous with a plant on it. Okay, so DIY number 5. So for DIY number 5, I'm going to show you this adorable little wall hanger or door hanger using a Dollar Tree placemat. Now, I actually purchased this at Family Dollar, but Dollar Tree and Family Dollar are owned by the same company now, so you may find this at either store. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this little splatter screen from Dollar Tree and trace the circular part on top of the placemat right around that gorgeous design. I will then trim the placemat down so that it fits perfectly inside the round part of my splatter screen. Once that is all done and any excess is trimmed off, I'm kind of peeling off that little paper scissor there, and now I'm actually just going to go ahead and use tacky glue from the Dollar Tree to adhere this on. So I'm just going to spread the tacky glue on there and then press this down. And once it is down, I'm going to use hot glue to take some Dollar Tree rope and go around the outer edge of this circle. I'm going to go around the outside of that little silver edge there. And I'm actually going to be making a couple of loops around, so not to worry, that silver part will be covered. Just make sure that you are careful with your fingers, apply the hot glue, and then firmly press your rope down and it will adhere nicely. So here is one loop around, and once I get that full loop around, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that handle. So after my full loop, I just added some more glue and went all the way up this little handle to make sure that it blends in and looks super nice. Then once I get to the top, I will cut off that end piece and make sure that it's glued down so that it looks really cute and is not sticking out at all. Once that is done, then I'm ready to go around the inside again. But it was just easier for me to go ahead and complete that handle in one piece with my first loop around, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here I am just kind of holding down that top part so it's not sticking out, trimming off any excess, and apparently I had to touch it a lot. My hands are going crazy. Oh my goodness, you guys. So I actually do not move this fast. If you do not know, we can fast forward when we're editing. So this has been fast forwarded probably about 3 times so that you guys don't have to watch me in slow-mo. But just to clarify, I really do not move that fast. If I did, I would get a lot more done. Okay, so here I am going around with the rope that second time directly on top of that silver part to cover that up. And now I just think that looks so pretty and so much more finished. So just tacking in my ends and trying to trim off any excess, make this look as neat as possible. Now I'm going to create a bow with some beautiful burlap ribbon with a white design on it. I actually believe I got this at a yard sale. So I cut it in half and placed an X formation. And now I'm going to take some Dollar Tree ribbons and just keep stacking them on top of each other in the continued X formation. So these burlap ribbons are from Dollar Tree. And then this pretty mesh tubing is from Dollar Tree, as well as this darker brown burlap, which I am cutting down the middle to make thinner strips. And I'm just going to keep on stacking and piling this bow. So once I get that stacked up as much as I want it, I'm going to take some of this pretty Dollar Tree raffia. That's a nice dark green color, and place that on top. And then I'm going to take a doubled over piece of jute twine so that I can go ahead and wrap it tightly around the middle. And then I will tie a knot to cinch this all together. Once it is all cinched together, I'll just do any trimming that may need to be done. This bow came out so cute, and I just love how it looks on here. Now I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue it down, cover up where our rope edges meet, and any gluey mess I may have created while doing that. I'm just holding this bow down until it firmly adheres, as it is kind of thick, and I want it to stay in place. So just kind of making sure it's arranged nicely, and then taking one of these little cotton stems from the Dollar Tree and gluing that down in the middle. I think it's so pretty. And then I'm going to make a little ribbon arrangement here at the bottom. I'm going to cut 4 little pieces of ribbon and just arrange 2 on either side in the little V. And then I'm going to put 3 more of these little cotton pieces. They do come about 3 to a pack from Dollar Tree, I believe, depending on the size. I think the amount in the package varies. But this is what I'm doing just to make sure that I have a lot of cute little design on here. So I'm making sure that these are nicely hot glued down. And here is what it looks like. I think it is so pretty. It only cost me a couple of dollars to make. It's perfect for fall, but I honestly think it is perfect for all year as well. Okay, let's jump right into DIY number 6, and I'll show you how to make this adorable Dollar Tree item shelf. So I began with these 4 little pieces from Dollar Tree left over from the fall time. And they do have that little piece in there I was just showing you. Okay, and I'm also going to be using 4 Dollar Tree crates. So I'm going to go ahead and flip one of these pieces upside down and place my crate inside. They fit perfectly on either side of that little piece that is sticking out. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that wood glue that I had on hand at that time. I guess I used it all, and some hot glue. When they fit perfectly down there, the glue is just to give them some extra stability. Now with some more glue, and then we are going to take that other piece and place that right on top. And again, perfect fit. I was so excited to figure this out. Of course, there is a gap in the middle, but I have a plan for that. So now I'm going to make another set, just like so, repeating the same steps, and I'll attach everything together. So I'm just going to use some more of my glue and attach these 2 pieces together. So you have that Dollar Tree long piece, your 2 crates, a long piece, your 2 crates, and a long piece. Now I'm taking another long piece, and I'm taking that little piece out like I'm showing you, and I'm just kind of using it to get some straight lines there in the middle, because I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, but you're going to be leaving that little piece out to make it a perfect fit. And that little piece is just the width of that long piece, if that makes sense, because since you have a long piece going through the middle, you need to remove that much. So I hope that makes sense. But once you remove from the middle of this stick piece, once you remove from the middle, you'll have 2 smaller pieces left that fit perfectly on the top and the bottom. So hopefully that made sense, probably watching more so than me rambling on. But however, once those are glued in there, I'm going to go ahead and take some Dollar Tree craft sticks and cut them down and adhere them to either side so that I have a nice clean finish and this looks nice. So I go ahead and do the either side of that middle panel. I wish I knew what to call those decor pieces instead of like stick or long thing. I'm hoping I'm not confusing you guys, but however, I'm just putting these craft sticks all around. So as you can see me doing, just using glue to glue them down, and this just adds a more finished look in my opinion and makes this look nice. Of course, you absolutely don't have to do this if you don't want to, but once you get it exactly how you want it, you can go ahead and paint it. So I gave this 2 generous coats of my Waverly white chalk paint, and once that was done, I went over this entire thing with my Waverly antique wax. I painted on with a paintbrush and then rub it off with a paper towel. So I do this all over, and then in spots that I want to bring out a little bit more of this white color, so I just dry brush over the antique wax once it is dry with some more of that chalk paint. And then here is what it looks like displayed for Valentine's Day, but it is so cute, and I think it will look adorable for any season. It was really fun to make, and it's very customizable. Okay, for DIY number 7, I'm going to show you how I made this adorable basket using a Dollar Tree sign, some Dollar Tree rope, and a Hot Wheel track. So remove the hanger from your sign and then take this Dollar Tree rope, and I began to form a little swirl and have one formed, I'm going to place it down in the middle of the sign on top of the hot glue. I will then swirl around and around, hot gluing every so often to make sure that my rope is adhered to my sign quite well. I'm going to continue this until I am about 3/4 of the way done with this tray. Then I will stop and put the sides on the tray, and then I will finish wrapping my rope. I also leave the tape on the end of the rope until my tray is all put together, and then I cut it off with a sharp scissor, and that way my rope does not unwrap. That's a little bit of a tongue twister there. So now you will need 2 of these Hot Wheels tracks. So Dollar Tree does sell these, and one of them will wrap about 3/4 of the way around, and then the second one will finish the distance. So if you apply some hot glue to the inside ridge, it will fold perfectly around this Dollar Tree round sign. Once I get the first piece on, I'll just measure out how much I need of my second piece, and then I'll apply some hot glue to that little ridge there, and I will continue wrapping it all the way around with generous amounts of hot glue. You will also want to use generous amounts of hot glue where the 2 tracks meet on either side. Once that is done, you will cut 2 pieces of rope in equal length, and you will attach them in a loop on either side of your tray to form our handles. Once your handles are glued down very well, you can continue wrapping the inside of this tray. You'll wrap all the way around the inside. You will also wrap up the Hot Wheel tracks. You will wrap the top, and you will wrap the outside with this rope. So this is really easy peasy, probably a lot easier seen than explained. So I'm just going to let this play out, and I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you are new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, please remember to hit that bell button so you are notified every time that I upload. If you're not new, hey again, thank you so much for coming by. Please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, as that really helps me out here on YouTube. And once your tray is all the way completely wrapped in the way that you like it, easy peasy, there you go. It is perfect for a vignette or a decorative piece. It only cost us a few dollars, and I absolutely love the way it came out. I hope you like it too. Okay, so for DIY number 8, I'm going to show you how I made these adorable cutting boards using cutting boards from the Dollar Tree. So I took 2 of the Dollar Tree cutting boards and removed the wrappers, and then I took 2 of the paint stick handles. So a 5-gallon paint stir stick you can find at your hardware store or at Walmart. They're about 3 for $1, and I like to cut off the handles for projects, and then I had saved these handles. So this is literally just the handle part cut off, and I'm gluing it down to the top middle of my cutting board. Then I'm going to be painting one of these cutting boards with Waverly white chalk paint and one with Waverly ink chalk paint. And in case I didn't mention it, I did use hot glue to glue the handles down, and it worked fine. Then I went to my Cricut and printed out a couple of things that I liked, but I am just going to be using it as a stencil. So I believe I just put in Farmhouse, and I got these 2 little things on Design Space. So I just kind of pulled out the design and used it as a stencil. This is not stencil vinyl, but it still works out really well. Then I dried it with my heat gun, but you can't get too close or you'll kind of mess up your vinyl. And then once you pull the vinyl off, it works really well as a stencil. So that is how I did this one. Of course, I could have just put the design on there, but I only had pink vinyl at this time, I believe. So anyway, here's what that looks like, and then I just kind of weeded out that extra piece, and I did the same for my Farmhouse Kitchen. I actually had some white for that one, so I believe I actually typed Farmhouse Kitchen in Cricut Design Space, and then I just adhered that down on my little cutting board, used some pretty Dollar Tree trim that I had found and glued that along the bottom, and then I just took a couple of sprigs of a beautiful lamb's ear here and put that at the top of the handle along with a little crochet lace bow from Dollar Tree. I then put a little bit more of this trim across the top just to tie everything together and make this super pretty. These projects were so easy and just over $2 for this set. They look absolutely gorgeous in a farmhouse kitchen, and I really hope that you like them. Of course, I do have to go ahead and I almost said garnish, but go ahead and accessorize the animal one with some more of that beautiful trim along the bottom, just cutting a piece to fit, gluing it down, and then I put some more of that trim where the handle meets the cutting board and glue that trim down. Now I'm going to use this beautiful burlap polka dotted ribbon from the Dollar Tree and just form a little bow by folding it over and tying it in the middle with some of that twine. Then I will use my hot glue to adhere my bow to my little cutting board after I go ahead and trim off the excess of that twine there. Sorry about that little noise. My dog is being goofy, but anyway, and then I go ahead and do some lamb's ear on this one and glue that little bow down. Once I get that done, this project is so cute. I do place another little bow right in the middle of that with that Dollar Tree crochet lace. How cute is this? I absolutely love it. Okay, guys, let's get into DIY number 9. Is this cute home farmhouse style kitchen. Now I began with a Dollar Tree sign, a long Dollar Tree sign that I had painted with my white chalk paint by Waverly. And I just grabbed this little piece of packaging to get my lines to make it look shiplap. I did not want them perfect, so this worked out well. And you got to hear my clock chime. I'm using Waverly ink chalk paint for my lines. So once I get my sign done and all dry, I can move on to the next step. So this is an older project, or well, the beginning of my channel. So I'm sorry if the footage is not perfect, but I will try to understand what I am doing and explain it to you as well as possible. So if I were doing this now, I would just use a ruler, but I guess I didn't want to get up. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, that worked and we got our shiplap look, and then I'm just touching it up, it looks like, with a little bit more paint on the little brush and on the little sponge, and I am drying it again. Typically I don't like to show drying on my videos because I try to make them as efficient as possible, and I know that you guys can hold a heat gun. So here I am going over it with a Dollar Tree sanding sponge, I guess, to kind of just mute everything down, sand everything down, give it more of a distressed look. And for some reason, I had felt the need to show you some more drying. Okay, now I'm going to take these cute little pans from the Dollar Tree. I know that they came in the toy section. They came with these little spatulas and also some food items. So I'm going to take 4 of them. And so I had bought 4 packages, and I painted these little pans with my Waverly ink chalk paint. Once they were completely dry, I glued them down on my sign. Once that is done, I pay attention to this little bit of silverware that came with those pans. I'm just painting over the plastic handles with my Waverly ink chalk paint to give them a better look, and then I am going to painstakingly and slowly paint them, I guess. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, so now once these are dry, then I'm going to also go over my little spatula, parts of my spatula with some gray paint, and dry that. So once that is done, some footage apparently did disappear, but I just rimmed the edges of my little pans with some Waverly white chalk paint. I glued that silverware down in an X fashion with a little bit of trim around it. I then printed out this home on the Cricut Design Space, and I just printed out a little extra cow and put it there instead of the O. But of course, Dollar Tree does have little letter stickers that you could paint if you needed them. Then I just formed 2 bows with this Dollar Tree burlap checked ribbon. I put a bow on the H and also the M, and I'm also, I believe, going to put one on the cow and the E, so one on each one, and I just think that this project is really, really cute. So here is that. that. And then the bow above the cow, I also make an extra bow with that trim. Oh, I see what I did. I make an extra bow with that trim and put that on top, and I do the same for the E. So what I'm doing is alternating my bows, and that is really cute. And then I take a little bit more of this Waverly White chalk paint on a brush and just dry brush the insides of my little pans to blend everything together, make it look old and distressed. And oh my goodness, you guys, this is an oldie but a goodie, and I hope you like it. Okay, our final project, DIY number 10. This cute little house shelf. Now, I did use a wooden box that I found on clearance from Michael's for the base of my house, or the long part of my house. However, if you don't have a box like that, Dollar Tree does have a lot of signs. So there's a lot of different ways to recreate this, or you could just head over to Michael's or any of your department stores and just find a really cheap unfinished box. So however you like to do that part. And then I'm going to use 5 of these large paint stir sticks, and these are cut to the length of our box as they're going to be the back of the inside. And then I used a 6 paint stir stick to cover the bottom and top edge. So technically you will need 6 or about 5.5, as that 6th paint stick, you're just using 2 of those little pieces. Then I use tacky glue from the dollar store, but you can use any type of adhesive you like, an E6000 or a Gorilla Glue, and of course my hot glue. So I'm beginning by taking these 5 long sticks that were cut to size to fit in the back of my box. And again, you could easily recreate this box with a Dollar Tree sign, and Dollar Tree also has wood pieces you could use to recreate this, or you could pick it up very inexpensively at a arts and crafts store like Joann's or Michael's or whatever you like. So I'm just going ahead and I'm aligning these into the back of my box. 5 of them will fit perfectly and give you a really, really nice look in the back there, a nice shiplap look. And then I'm taking those 2 smaller pieces and I'm just putting them across the bottom and top edge, just to kind of cover that up and give it a little more interest, make it look a little nicer. I'm just kind of sanding off my edges so they're not jagged and ragged looking. And that is what we have so far. Now I'm taking this walnut stain, which this step actually became unnecessary because I decided that I didn't like it. It wasn't dark enough for me. So what I ended up doing was taking my antique wax by Waverly, mixing a little bit of water in to make it a little bit thinner, and restaining my box with that. So really, just find whatever color stain you like, or you can water down a paint and use it as a stain. So just kind of play around with that to get the exact color that you like and that you think is nice. Then I take 2 of my cutting boards, and again, I end up going over them with a different color, but I'm going to be gluing 1 on the bottom. So just 1 to the bottom of this little box that we have. And I'm going to be using my tacky glue and hot glue. I'm going to be careful not to put them directly on top of each other. I'm kind of putting 1 on one side and 1 on the other. Then I'm going to set my little box right in the middle there. Now you will have some overhang around the edge of our box, which is going to be our house, but I think that is really cute. And then I take that little tag that came on my box and I just pop it there on the bottom middle, and I take another cutting board and I just go ahead and glue that on top. So here we've already used 2 of our cutting boards, and then of course we're going to use 2 more to form the roof of this little house. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. My little puppy Diana is in with me. We are voicing over, and we're actually in one of the boys' rooms because it's like the only quiet room in the house since the kids are home for the summer. And Diana keeps looking out the window, which means kind of rattling the blinds. So I apologize about that. But here we are, just putting those 2 houses. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Those 2 cutting boards into a V-like shape and gluing them on the bottom and of course where it meets. Now I just went ahead and took that top cutting board off so that I could easier work with this, and then I glue it back onto the house. So you can see what I'm doing here with my hot glue and my tacky glue. I'm just gluing where all the edges meet, and then of course I'm going to hold my glue gun up and try and go inside those edges and just glue those seams really, really well. And then I am going to put the whole roof back on top. Now I did get a little bit of glue on the side edge of my roof, but I just go ahead and wipe that off. I accidentally had sat it down in some glue. You guys, this is real life and I am not a perfect crafter, so then I take these two little palettes from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, and they fit perfectly in the top of our little house. And I just feel like it gives it a really cute look. And then I'm taking two of these large craft sticks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just lining the edges at the bottom of my roof. And then, of course, that looks a lot better, kind of covers that up. And I'll also put one across the top where my roof pieces meet. And then I just take two little edges of craft stick that I had already cut off, and I just kind of pop them on the front. You can see there on either side where everything kind of connects. I just pop those cute little rounded pieces just to, you know, cover that up and just make it look nice. And then I've went ahead and stained this with my combination antique wax and water, and then I'm going to brush over it quite generously with my ivory chalk paint. You don't have to do this, or you can do this heavier, however you like it. You just play with it and get the look that you are going for. And then you have this cute and adorable little house decor piece that you can change up for seasons. There's so many different little things you can pop in for different seasons and different times. I absolutely love how this looks. It is so pretty and it was so easy to make. I really enjoyed making it and I love how it looks in my living room. I hope that you like this project too. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you. So that is it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I'll be back very soon with some more Easter inspiration, and stay safe, friends.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel, and thank you for watching today's craft, and stay safe.